electronic music. Your home for the latest in trance and progressive. The latest tunes selected. The hottest tracks in a row. Straight to your music player.
Welcome to the new world.
This is A State of Trance podcast. Here's your host, Armin van Buuren.
This week in the podcast, new music by tyDi, myself with Kathy Burton, Tom Colantonio and Origin Nielsen. But first, out now on Marcus Schultz's Cold Harbor label, DNS Project with Redeemer. The Australian producer and DJ tyDi has just released a great album on Armada with a variety of great tracks. Last week I had an interview with him in A State of Trance radio. Your album Shooting Star has just been released. What is the idea behind the album title?
My new album Shooting Stars, it got its title for a few reasons, but I think the first one is because a shooting star is something that you have to be pretty lucky to see. It's not really predictable. And I think with this album and with a lot of things in the music industry, it comes down to chance. You know, not everything can be predicted. And for a lot of various reasons, my stars aligned and I was able to come up with an album that is absolutely perfect to me. So yeah, also it's a very positive title. I like that.
I see a lot of vocal tracks as well as collaborations with Protoculture and Tunisia. How did you determine who to work with and why?
I've got a massive respect for all of the artists that I collaborated with on Shooting Stars. Many of them are close friends of mine and people who I really care about. Tania and I have worked on a few songs together and we get along really well. Audrey Gallagher, Megan, Brianna and DJ Rap, they're hugely talented and I love their work. Jennifer Renee has a sexy character to her voice that I just had to have on the album. Sarah has a brilliant band called Paper Airplanes that I'm obsessed with, so it was really cool to write our song Acting Crazy together. And also Protoculture and Tanisha, the two other producers that I worked with, are brilliant producers in their own right, and I'm a big fan of their music, so it was really great to have them on the album as well.
Which of the songs are you most proud of?
Whoa, that's a very hard question for me to answer because this album is like my dream project.
Yeah.
I wrote every song on the project with the intent for it to be a full full album. So for me, the whole thing is like one single cohesive work. Every song has its place and purpose that builds up to make it the album that it is. But in saying that, you really do need to check out the song called Sex, Lies and Still Oblivious, because that one is really pumping.
Thank you, tyDi, and see you again soon.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, coming from the album Shooting Stars, this is tyDi with Protoculture and Megan Nealon. Criminal.
Lock the door, don't allow enemies are here now to break this place and find out what's hiding. Turn around and don't stop. Blink them out and get out. When they come, they won't show me mercy. Would you rather desert me? Would you let them hurt me? If you knew all the things I did before, is it nice to ask you? Never let you involve you. These are things that I don't do
Trance update straight to your music player. This is a State of Trance podcast.
Every week, the highlights of A State of Trance radio straight to your iTunes or iPod. Or maybe you're tuned in through youtube.com/Armin van Buuren or arminradio.com. Up next is the most popular track as voted by the listeners of A State of Trance, the brand new Mara Levy remix of my own track with Kathy Burton, Rain.
podcast track listings and more, check out www.astateoftrance.com.
Armin van Buuren.
This is the A State of Trance podcast. Having a look at my email, armin@astateoftrance.com. Keep those requests and shouts coming. Osama El Mardi from Egypt shouts out to his friend Hassam and Hakim. Happy 23rd birthday to Yaroslav Shekshov from Kirinovo in Russia, from your best friends. Also, Justin Sunner sends a big shout out to his friend Dakota, who is moving across the country to Calgary soon. And last but not least, a request from David Ashkin Gust. He really wanted to hear Origin Nielsen's new tune, Le Tour de France. So here it is, David.
Interact. Send your comments to Armin@astateoftrance.com.
The last track on this week's podcast comes from the label of John O'Callaghan, Subculture. This is the brand new Tom Colantonio with the vocals of Sibon, The Sun.
Send your comments to Armin at astateoftrance.com.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 187 of A State of Trance podcast. For all the updates and specials, join our Facebook page, facebook.com/A State of Trance official, or visit astateoftrance.com. See you next week for a new podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. For more info about this podcast, go to astateoftrance.com. Tune in next week for more A State of Trance.
For more info, check www.armadamusic.com.